What's going on, everybody? So I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Fallon, as probably almost everybody else in the world is. He's a super funny guy. But he also, his show, I just like his show a lot. He does a lot of cool different things in the show. One of the things, obviously, he does musical guests. And today we have Hamilton as the at-home instrument. So I'm really, actually, I haven't seen this. And The Roots, I guess. So it's Hamilton cast and The Roots sing Helpless. Helpless is one, actually, probably my favorite song off the whole soundtrack. I think it's just really well written. Favorite melody has to be, I think, though, from The Story Tonight, where it's raise a glass to freedom. Like, that is killer. But Helpless probably overall is probably my favorite song. I just like the production on it. I just like the melody, just the story. It's just it's well written, and it really brings out emotion. I think that's one of the most important things about music, is you're looking for something that brings out emotion. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. This is the at-home instruments. This was filmed posted June 27th. So like pretty much in the height of COVID. So I want to give Jimmy and a lot of the other guys that were on the TV shows, but Jimmy, I feel like, was one of the forefront guys to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do my own home version of my show, and just boom, he's like literally straight up in his house. And I thought that was a true entrepreneur creative, and I want to give him a lot of credit, because that was really cool. And when I saw that, I was like, he's going for it, man. He's going, just putting the content out there, even if it's not the best quality, studio quality, and people loved it. It was trending on, it was like the top one, like what are they trending on YouTube, like. So let's see what we got. Let's go straight into this.
Revolution and love. The musical Hamilton is a story about hope.
Like, listen to the natural reverb of the room. Like, you could just hear, like, and he's filming on a folding table, man. It's so funny.
Revolution and love. A story as relevant now as it was back then.
So funny.
Here's me and the Roots performing Helpless with some instruments around the house, plus Lin-Manuel Miranda and the original Broadway cast of Hamilton.
Wow.
Hey. Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. Hey. Hey.
Hey. Hey. Hey. Hey. Hey. Ooh, I do what do what do what do. Hey. Ooh, I do what do what do I do.
I find it pretty remarkable, like, how these people, I'm curious if they set up a microphone, or if they, I don't know the answer to this. I'm curious if they set up a microphone, or if they filmed actually from their AirPods, because they have that kind of like thin robotic sound to them, like when you're talking to somebody on the phone. Like, it doesn't sound like you and I talking right now. It has a very robotic sound, because the microphone on a phone or an AirPod or anything like that is so much smaller than the actual. So for example, my microphone up here that you can see somewhere, over here, right there, I believe it's called the transistor, the thing that picks up the sound, it's this big. It's like, bigger than a quarter. It's like probably 2/4 large, as opposed to like the thing on our phone is like mad tiny, so like that's why it can't pick up the low end that much, because lower frequencies are much bigger, and it just doesn't pick them up that well. So I'm always curious how they record them. It sounds good, and there's so much you can do in the studio to make it some fuller and stuff. So when somebody requested the song, they asked how they record this, in the sense of, like, do they use a click track, do they not use a click track? There's a bunch of different ways that they could have done this. I'm going to watch a little more and kind of explain in a sec.
Ooh, boy, you got me helpless. Look into your eyes and the sky's the limit. I'm helpless. Down for the count and I'm drowning in them. I had never been the type to try and grab the spotlight. We were at a revel with some rebels on a hot night.
You can hear, like, the natural room reverb of just chilling in that. I appreciate this guy here on the bottom right, who actually had like legit camera setup, man. That looks killer.
Boom.
Trying to get your eye from the side of the ballroom. Everybody's dancing in the band's top volume. Grind to the rhythm as we wine and dine. Grab my sister and whisper, yo, this one's mine.
Killer. It's killer. Really well recorded. But seriously, that guy God knows what he was doing with filming. So there's a couple of ways that they probably filmed this. They could have. I don't know if they played to a click track, because they must have had somehow. They had to have, because it would have been a nightmare. And unless they pre-recorded it, this is possible. Like, I wonder if they could have taken the sounds, like, for example, the guy going like this, the guy hitting that tin, and they could have play that along in a click track, and he's lip syncing, lip playing, playing along while like the sounds actually aren't coming from there. That could be it too. That's actually more likely because the sound quality is actually pretty good. So I have a feeling that that's likely it. Or they were playing along to some sort of click, or they sent for example, maybe the main instruments were pre-recorded and they're playing along to that somehow. But these guys aren't even using headphones or anything like that, so you'd be able to hear the click, or you'd be able to hear, the music playing in the background. I don't think that they could just be like, oh, it's 96 BPM and I know what that feels like and I'm just going to be able to stay on time the whole time. I doubt that's the case.
My sister made her way across the room to you, and I got nervous thinking, what's she gonna do? She grabs
I like that melody, that riff that she'd always does.
by the arm, I'm thinking I'm through. Then you look back at me and suddenly I'm helpless. Oh, look at those eyes, oh, yeah, I'm helpless. I know. Down for the count and I'm drowning in them. Helpless. I'm so into you. Look into your eyes, so into you. Helpless. I know I'm down for the count and I'm drowning in them. 1 week later, I'm writing a letter.
That was killer. You hear that pulling out the instruments and then coming back in hard. That was
For
cool.
the count and I'm drowning in them. 1 week later, I'm writing a letter nightly. Now my life gets better every letter that you write me. Laughing at my sister.
Yeah, like that. I don't think that was real. I think that was like acted. I think that they might be recorded that after the fact or prior, and then put it in.
She wants to fund the harem.
I'm just saying, if you really love me, you would share 'em.
Ha! 2 weeks later in the living room stressing. My father's telling me
Harmony's a killer, man.
while you're asking for his blessing. I'm dying inside as you whine and dine, and I'm trying not to cry 'cause there's nothing that you mind. Ooh, my father makes his way across the room to you. I panic for a second thinking we're through, but then he shakes your hand and says be true, and you turn back to me smiling and helpless.
Her voice is wild. This is filmed pretty wild. I actually really like how they mix it up. It's kind of like the Brady Bunch kind of thing. There's a lot of people that I don't recognize, so I guess maybe it might have been like the extras in the cast because I don't necessarily recognize them.
Eliza, I don't have a dollar to my name, an acre of land, a troop to command, a dime.
There's a likelihood he probably recorded this on his with that phone because it has that distinct sound, almost like a Zoom recording kind of feel.
For fame, all I have's my honor, a tolerance for pain, a couple of college credits and my top.
Okay, here we go. Look at this. This is probably a good example. You look at him blowing out. They don't necessarily match the vocal or that's the sounds of it. So that could be a tell that this was pre-recorded and they're playing along with it. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong.
Have a dollar to my name, an acre of land, a troop to command.
Right here,
a dollar
in this
for
comes in.
fame, all I have's my honor, a tolerance for pain, a couple of college credits and my top-notch.
It's a
brain.
little off.
Your family brings out a different
I don't know.
side of me. Peggy confides in me. Angelica tried to take a bite of me. No stress, my love for you was never in doubt. We'll get a little place in Harlem and we'll figure it out. I've been living without a family since I was a child. My father left, my mother died. I grew up buck wild, but I'll never forget my mother's face that was real.
What's that thing called that Alex Lackmore's playing? It has a very distinct. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a very distinct instrument. I'm impressed with this guy's quality of video. I think it's killer, actually.
As long as I'm alive, I swear to God, you'll never feel so.
Killer lyric. I like how he changed. I like actually throughout the whole musical, they kind of changed the song starts one way and then they kind of change it, where it's like, she's saying I feel so helpless, and then he's saying, as long as I'm alive, you'll never feel so helpless. And the same thing with It's Quiet Uptown, like where they're talking. I think it's Quiet Uptown, right? Where they're talking about like the unimaginable, and it's like like how the loss of a child, and then it's like the unimaginable with forgiveness. I like a lot how they transition the song like that.
My life is gonna be fine, 'cause Eliza's in there.
I look into your eyes and the sky's the limit.
big shout out to whoever edited this video, because putting all these extra videos together, this thing must have been a beast to render.
Hey, 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 hey.
Nice syncopation. That was killer, man. That was actually really cool. I definitely genuinely enjoyed that. I thought that was really pretty wild. Really well done. I love the creativity that came out of COVID. I think that it was really cool how people just were like, you know what, we're not gonna just sit at home and do nothing. We're still gonna create content even if it's not what we're used to. And I think I love the creativity that came out of it. I think it's pretty wild.
Looking fine every time I see you. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all the seasons. In a dress or in your sweater, in your PJs. It doesn't matter, babe, you're so beautiful. Let me be your man when you're hurting. And let me hold your hand when we're flirting. Let me be the one, oh babe, let me be the one.